Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'll be sharing a story with you. The movie starts with shots of different kinds of destruction caused by biochemical weapons. The President of the United States addresses the situation, ensuring to the nation that what the administration is doing is to make sure they will continue their way of life. Then a reporter points out a project called Noah's Ark and asks if it's connected to the rumors about experts like doctors, scientists, and engineers going missing at night, and also asks if the government is hiding them in an underground facility somewhere. However, the president doesn't directly answer. It just mentions they have contingency plans in place and their priority is the safety of the people. So the movie fast forwards into the future, where that biochemical attack has wiped out most of mankind and Earth's air has become unbreathable. Inside a facility, Bauer wakes up in his sleeping pod from a 6-month artificial slumber. His partner Cartwright wakes up next. The two guys are given 2 hours of oxygen to perform their maintenance tasks and make sure everything's up and running in the facility. While doing what they have to do, Cartwright starts talking to Abby without Bauer knowing. Abby reminds Cartwright about his promise that he'll tell Bauer the truth about them. As it turns out, Abby is Cartwright's wife, and she's one of the experts who were taken away before and put in a cryogenic sleep chamber in the multi-story underground facility they're in. She then mentions that their expertise will help rebuild the world again when the time is right. Bauer calls them sleepers. And unlike Cartwright, Bauer finds sleepers creepy and also feels like they're wasting their own lives in this facility so that sleepers can survive. Soon they have 20 minutes of oxygen left. So Bauer asks Cartwright if he's checked the diagnostics, and he confirms it. Bauer then goes into the bathroom for his date with Miss 1979, and Cartwright gets ready for their cryo machines. But what he doesn't know is that there's an overload in one of those cryopods, and sparks start flying. With only 7 minutes left, he sees Abby again, and she reminds him how it feels when he touches her. As they're having a moment, a fire ignites in Cartwright's cryopod. He gets an extinguisher from the bathroom, forcing Bauer to open the door, even though he's still on his date. The two men manage to put out the fire, but the pod is severely damaged, and they can't go back to their cryo slumber. Soon their time runs out, and the entire facility shuts down. Desperate, they gotta find a way to fix it. They quickly check the handbook and go to find some emergency air and power supply. When they find it, they turn it on, but it doesn't work. So, with no hope left, the two men sit in the dark and wait for all their oxygen to run out. Bauer then tells Cartwright the truth about him. He tells him about how he had a wife and 3 daughters, and how he lied about not being married so he could get the job. This made him all safe during the attack, with his family suffering outside. He tells Cartwright that they're family now. Suddenly, the facility turns back on, so the two men quickly try to find a way to fix the damaged pod. They see in a blueprint that there's another storage area, so they go there and find the needed equipment. Cartwright fixes and sets up his now fixed cryopod, but all afraid, he hesitates on going in, so Bauer volunteers and gets in first. Unfortunately, the pod starts to malfunction, and Bauer tries calling for Cartwright, but he's not responding. The plastic cover then compresses Bauer inside, suffocating him, not allowing him to move. But luckily, Cartwright appears and cuts open the plastic, setting him free. But that results in the pod being damaged again. After almost being assassinated, Bauer's asking him where he was when he was calling him for help. Cartwright tells him that he was just outside and looking for the box cutter, but he couldn't find it. Now, without a spare pod to sleep in, Bauer comes up with an evil plan. He tells Cartwright they can survive by ejecting a random sleeping person, so one of them could take the pod. But Abby comes by and tells Cartwright not to do it. So really not wanting to commit murder here, he tells Bauer that there has to be another way instead, and suggests going to the nearby facility ABC to find something else. In the next scene, we see Cartwright exiting in a hazmat suit to enter the facility near him, with Bauer assisting him on the radio. When he steps out of that safe zone through the red door, he sees a soldier's body. However, he ignores it, continuing to his destination. He tells Bauer that he only sees blue dust around, and Bauer tells him that those are contaminants. While staying behind and on the radio with Cartwright, Bauer realizes the cameras are still working, and he can see Cartwright, so he uses them to help him monitor his partner. Soon, Cartwright finds the door to the facility, and after a slight struggle opening it, he successfully gets into the airlock chamber. However, the next door he reaches doesn't open, and he thinks that it must be out of power. Bauer then tells him another way to get there, and that's through the air ducts. But as he's crawling through, their radio signal gets weaker, and Bauer quickly tries to find a way to boost the signal. But when he does, he discovers something more interesting instead. He finds the box cutter which Cartwright had so much trouble finding earlier. Meanwhile, Cartwright finds the filter bypass and quickly reports back to Bauer. However, Bauer's not responding, as he's now suspicious about Cartwright. Instead, he goes to the surveillance footage and rewinds it back to where he was earlier, when he was suffocating. While Bauer's reviewing the footage, Cartwright realizes something sinister. That ABC facility had already been destroyed, and when he goes up to the surface, he sees all the ruins caused by the biochemical weapon. He also finds out that everybody's kinda gone, and have been there for a really long time. Cartwright's clearly shocked by that, because the computers in the facility say the status is good. He then realizes that there isn't any network or connection with the other facilities from the very beginning. And the computers are just programmed to make him believe that they're not alone to keep him sane. Meanwhile, Bauer discovers Cartwright's betrayal on the footage. He finds out that Cartwright was standing next to him the entire time while he was struggling for his life in the spare chamber. He realizes Cartwright's true intentions, and for some reason changed his mind about it last minute. Soon, Cartwright tells Bauer that he's running low on air and is heading back to their facility, which Bauer responds that he'll be waiting, unaware that Bauer now knows the truth and is ready to confront them. As Cartwright reaches the airlock chamber, Bauer shows him the box cutter, telling him that he found it in the toolbox where he put it right next to the pod, just within reach, while he was suffocating before. Bauer then confronts him about trying to murder him and shows him a gun. Cartwright, all surprised and scared, tries to calm him down, and he tries to explain everything to him. But Bauer can't let him in this facility again because he doesn't trust him anymore, and he poses a danger to him and all the sleepers. So Cartwright's looking for a way back inside. As he does, he sees Abby again, who gives him an idea of using those air ducts. So he crawls through it again, trying to find a way back to the facility. And while he's crawling, Bauer tells him how his betrayal is what hurts the most, because he trusted him. With 15 minutes left of oxygen, Cartwright successfully gets back inside, but Bauer meets him with a gunshot, and a chase ensues. As Cartwright's trying to escape, he ends up in the medicine storage, where he sees Abby again, who gives him the idea of taking Bauer's life with a shot of morphine. So he heads back to the computer room, looking at the monitors to locate Bauer. But before he can do so, Bauer shoots him, hitting his shoulder. Bauer confronts him again, and Cartwright tries to explain to him and tell him about Abby. He's even talking to Abby, and Bauer's like, "Who are you talking to?" He shoots Cartwright again, but he manages to escape into the sleeper's room. Bauer then finds his and Abby's photo, so he follows him into the room and finds Abby's pod. He calls out for Cartwright and tells him that he knows everything now, and threatens to shoot Abby if he doesn't. But Cartwright takes him by surprise and jumps him, injecting him with morphine. Bauer points the weapon but doesn't shoot and decides to just accept his demise. He tells Cartwright to take care of Abby and to hurry, as time is ticking before he passes away. With only 5 minutes left now, Cartwright takes Bauer's pod and goes back into the artificial slumber. In the next scene, the whole place lights up again and the system automatically wakes all the sleepers up, including Abby. And so does Cartwright, who looks a lot older now. They all get up from their sleeping pods and Cartwright goes to Abby. The movie ends with the couple reuniting with a hug. Always a pleasure having you guys around. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you had a good time today, and get ready for the next one.